Namaskar, warm greetings from DELNET Developing Library Network, New Delhi, India. Distinguished speaker, Mr. Mohamad Mostafa, Regional Engagement Specialist, Middle East and Asia, DataCite. Shri K. Jaikumar, President DELNET, Dr. S.S. Murthy, Vice President, Dr. P.R. Goswami, Treasurer DELNET, heads of institutions, including the directors, principals, deans, HODs, distinguished librarians, library and information science professionals, DataCite community members, institutional repository administrators, faculty, researchers, scholars, students, my colleagues here at DELNET New Delhi, as well as its coordination units at Bangalore, Hyderabad, and Pune, ladies and gentlemen. I, Sangeeta Kaur, Director DELNET New Delhi, on behalf of DELNET, extends a very warm, hearty welcome to all of you for joining us today online from various parts of India and many other countries across the globe, including Afghanistan, Algeria, Andorra, Lesotho, Nigeria, Pakistan, Philippines, Spain, Sri Lanka, UAE, and USA for an enlightening session on DataCite, unlocking repositories with persistent identifiers and supporting open research practices, which will be shortly be delivered by Mr. Mohamad Mostafa, our esteemed speaker of the day today. We are much grateful to each one of you for your overwhelming response to today's webinar session, as more than 1,200 participants across the globe have registered for the session. At the very outset, on behalf of DELNET, we would like to express a very warm, sincere gratitude to DataCite for their immense support and also convey our sincere appreciation and thanks to the distinguished speaker, Mr. Mohamad Mostafa, for acceding to our request to be there with us and for the time and efforts in joining us from Dubai to share his expertise and knowledge. Thank you so very much for your gracious acceptance to our invite, and it's indeed an honor and pleasure to have you with us, Mr. Mostafa. We welcome you to today's session. I have a pleasure in introducing the speaker, Mr. Mohamad Mostafa, who is a regional engagement specialist, Middle East and Asia at DataCite, currently based at Dubai. Mr. Mostafa collaborates with the community to foster a more open, equitable, and trusted research ecosystem. In his role at DataCite, he supports institutions and communities across Asia, the Middle East, the North Africa, implementing open research principles. And Mr. Mohamad Mostafa also contributed to launching the ORCID Arabic interface in the Arab world and served as a volunteer of Cross-Rep Ambassador for the MENA region, advocating for persistent identifiers, adoption, and open research infrastructures. Mr. Mostafa is based currently in Dubai, as I said earlier. It's a pleasure, profound honor and pleasure to have you with us today. We may like to start the session with an opening address by Ms. Gabriela Meges, the DataCite Community and Program Manager at DataCite headquarters at Hanover in Germany. In her current role, she leads the Global Access Program, contributes to DataCite's outreach efforts, and seeks collaborations with the research community. Ms. Gabriel also leads the DataCite participation in the Fair Impact Project. Previously, she worked at ORCID, focusing on community engagements to increase adoption and membership. Gabriela volunteers at the EOS CPID Policy and Implementation Task Force, the Board of Directors of the Network Digital Thesis Library of Thesis and Dissertations, and the NISO Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, and Accessibility Committee. She is interested in shaping a more open research infrastructure. We are going to play a video message, which has so kindly been and graciously being contributed by Gabriel.
Hello, everyone. I'm Gabriela Mejias, Community and Program Manager at DataCite. Although I'm not able to interact with you today because I'm attending a conference in California at the moment, it's great to welcome you to this DELNET webinar today. On behalf of DataCite, I want to say that we're very excited about this partnership and very thankful to DELNET for their efforts in promoting DataCite infrastructure among Indian institutions and for facilitating and hosting this webinar. Today, I'm going to give you a brief overview of DataCite as an organization. And to start with, let me speak briefly about persistent identifiers. A persistent identifier, or a PID, by its acronym in English, is a unique alphanumeric string that refers to a digital resource. It always points or redirects to the same resource, which is a metadata representation or a representation of that object. Some very well-known persistent identifier types are DOIs, for research outputs and resources, for researchers, ORCID identifiers, and for research organizations, WAR identifiers. And persistent identifiers can be considered the building blocks of research infrastructure because they help identify and also connect entities across the research ecosystem. There are persistent identifiers for people, such as researchers or contributes, and this can be ORCID identifiers or ISNI identifiers. For places such as research institutions, we include ROR identifiers. ROR stands for Research Organization Registry. And for things such as research outputs and resources, we include DataCite DOIs, but also other kind of identifiers such as handles, IGSN IDs, ARCs, and more. And now to speak about DataCite, we are a nonprofit organization established in 2009 by and for the research community in Germany. And we are a global community of organizations that come together to make sure that research outputs and resources can become openly available and also connected so that they can be reused to advance knowledge. And we do so by providing infrastructure such as persistent identifiers like DataCite DOIs and also APIs to integrate and improve research services and workflows. As an organization, we are strongly committed to openness. We are governed by the community through an executive board. We're also driven by the community through many different steering groups and working groups that advise us and help us develop our strategy. And we're also sustained by the community through institutions that join DataCite and pay membership fees. Members join DataCite and in exchange, they can register DOIs and metadata. And by default, all the metadata that our members register is openly available through a CC0 license. And we believe that with open metadata, we can help enable more transparency, trust, and also recognition for a wide range of research outputs and resources. And we collaborate with many institutions across the research ecosystem, and we have signed the Principles of Open Scholarly Infrastructure, which is a community initiative to guarantee that organizations that provide infrastructure for research are committed to openness. And we provide the infrastructure, but it's actually our members who register DOIs, metadata, and share information about the research. Currently, we have more than 300 members across 50 countries. From these members, we have 60 consortia. Consortia are groups of 5 or more institutions that come together and take a coordinated approach to adopt DataCite infrastructure. So overall, more than 1,400 organizations have joined DataCite and are using our infrastructure and have registered more than 61 million DOIs to date. And this is a snapshot of our registry. And as you can see, the most common resource type in our registry is dataset, but DataCite DOIs help identify the wide range of outputs and resources like physical objects or samples, text, images, journal articles, preprints, software, and many more. And what we're trying to do as a community is to drive a culture change in research. As I mentioned before, persistent identifiers and their associated metadata can be considered the building blocks of research infrastructure because they can ensure that research outputs and resources are findable, accessible, and also reusable. And persistent identifiers and their associated metadata can help implement a change in research by improving the understanding of the research life cycle and improving recognition for all the pieces associated in the research life cycle. And we hope that you will join us and that you will be part of this culture change. And you can do so by registering DOIs for your research outputs, by also registering and including as much and as rich metadata as possible for those DOIs, and by sharing your stories. And to close, I want to mention that persistent identifiers help implement or put in practice the open science and the fair data principles. And with this, I'm going to say thank you, and I'm going to hand over to my colleague, Mohamad.
Thank you so very much, Gabriela, for delivering such an insightful introductory address, setting the tone for today's webinar session. We remain truly grateful to you that in spite of being away to US on some of the professional engagement, you could spare some time and could get this message recorded for us. We remain truly, truly appreciative of this very gracious gesture of yours. Well, thank you so very much indeed. Well, before I pass the baton now to Mr. Mohamad Mostafa to start his presentation, we would like to request all the attendees to kindly participate in a very quick survey that we would like to undertake, which will definitely be helpful to our distinguished speaker to carry out his deliberations. Requesting all our colleagues, attendees here, please kindly be as quick as you can so that Mr. Mostafa can start off the deliberations. The first question is getting now launched onto the screens, and it says, kindly identify yourself. Kindly identify yourself, whether you are a librarian or a library professional, a faculty member, an educational administrator, or a researcher or a scholar. I could see that 25% of you have voted, requesting you, please come forward, and we would really like to gather, this input from all our attendees. Be as fast as you can, because this will really help us in covering many more aspects today. And we have our speaker, who is really waiting also to address each one of you. 40% of you have voted. We really would like to scale it up at least to 70–75% so that we can get a fair, good idea about our attendees here today. It has now moved on to 43%. May I request all our attendees, please come forward, and you just have to choose one of the options out of the four. Just choose one of the options out of the four and help us in knowing, in identifying yourself. I could see that it's 46% of you have voted. At least let's, cross a 50% mark so that Mr. Mostafa knows about it, that how many of the kind of our attendees who are being there with us today. It has gone to now 49%. Please help us in securing at least a 50% mark, so that we can then post the next question for you. 50% have voted, and let me, Mr. Mostafa, this is for you to know. 82% of the, our attendees here are the librarians and library professionals, followed by 10% who are the researchers and scholars. 7% are the faculty members, and 1% is the educational administrators. So 81% the librarians, 10% researchers, 7% faculty members, and 1% are the educational administrators. Let me now move down to the very next question, and the question is, have you ever heard about DataCite prior to receiving intimation about this webinar session? Was it the first time that you heard about DataCite when you got this invite, or you were being aware about it? So please kindly let us know whether you were being knowing about DataCite. If you were being knowing about DataCite, please kindly click on to yes. And in case this was the first time that you heard about DataCite through this webinar session, through this webinar invite, we request you to opt for the option number 2, which is no. I could see that 39% of you have voted. Please be faster enough. 42% have voted. Kindly help us in achieving, as I said, at least a 50% mark, so that we are able to get some good assessment about, about your familiarity with DataCite. It has now reached to 51%, and this is for you, Mr. Mostafa, to keep a note of it. 53% of our attendees have said that yes, they have been aware about DataCite prior to receiving this invite, and the 47% of them have opted for no. So it's a ratio of 50. Now it has gone to 54 to 40, 53 to 47%. I think we need to close on this as more and more. 55% have voted. 53% has said that yes, they have been knowing about DataCite, whereas 47% has said that no. So it's a wonderful opportunity for you to address not only the 53% who have already been knowing about it, to tell them something more about it, which they have not been aware, but yes, definitely fairly a big percentage of, around 47% that those who have not been knowing about it through this platform, to let them know. Let me just quickly now ask the last question. The question is, are you using any device for your research works, for research outputs? Are you currently using any of the ODIs, DOIs for your research works? If you are doing so, please do kindly let us know. And this would also tell us a little bit of more about, the adoption of the DOIs, whether we are practicing it, in our research ecosystems, in our institutions, as an institution, as an individuals. And please do kindly, 37% of you have voted, requesting each one of you, please help us in getting to know about your perceptions about it, how you are doing your research, how you are taking care of it. And because this will also be very, very vital for everyone here today to know about. We are talking about the DataCite. We are talking about, that how to really promote this open research and bring in those best practices. So 48%, it seems to be stuck at 48%. Please help me in moving to a half milestone of 50%. 49% of yes, we have now reached to 50%. And this is for you now, again, Mr. Mostafa, to keep a note of it. 63%, majority, 63% of our attendees have said they are not currently using any DOI for a research output. And 37% have opined that yes, they are, they are currently using, ODIs for their research outputs. So this is for you to keep a note of it. And now it's a profound pleasure for me in requesting our distinguished speaker to kindly start the deliberations, with his presentation. I welcome you once again, Mr. Mostafa, and it's indeed a pleasure. Thank you so much for the immense support, and we really look forward now in hearing from you. It's over to you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sangeeta, for all your fantastic effort and for pushing everyone to participate and to contribute to the poll. And it's really, as you mentioned, a fantastic opportunity. If we have 47% of the attendees are not aware about DataCite, so I think it's a really, really fantastic opportunity to share with them more details about the DataCite, who we are, and also talk to the ones that know us, because we are developing a lot, we are growing a lot as a community. So it's a fantastic opportunity also to share the progress with them. Let me share my screen. So I need a share access. I think I have, yeah, I think it's loading now. Yes, share.
Just kindly accept it, yes. presentation mode. We can have it.
Yes, I hope that you all can see my screen right now.
Very perfect, very perfect.
Perfect. So yeah, again, thank you so much, Dr. Sangeeta. Thank you, DELNET, for giving us this opportunity to talk about DataCite and introduce DataCite to you. As mentioned by my colleague Gabriella, we are a non-profit organization registered in Germany since the year 2009, and the main service that we provide for research organizations and institutions is we provide them with digital object identifiers. So DataCite DOIs are suitable for a wide range of research outputs. The first type of research outputs that we really support is the materials that are associated with a specific research process, such as datasets, collections, models, workflows, software script that has been written while conducting the research, the images, or the materials and the outputs that are related to a specific research process. So we support that. Also, we support the gray literature, such as the thesis, the dissertation, the preprint, the initial version of the articles before submitting it to the publisher, the newsletter, the student project, all the valuable research outputs that usually the primary point of publication will be your institutional repository. So all the valuable research outputs that you are publishing and storing and depositing into your institutional repository, this is a valuable research outputs. It's highly recommended to connect all of these research outputs with DOIs. As my colleague Gabby also highlighted, the DataCite registry, we support more than 30 research types where you can make them discoverable, where you can make them more visible by connecting them with a DOI. We all know, I am sure, giving the responses that 63% are not aware of the DOIs, but the remaining audience, they are aware of the DOIs, but I'm kind of sure that the majority of them will be aware of the DOIs in the context of the journal articles, in the context of the publishing community, because the adoption level for the DOIs in this particular community is really high, which is something great, because the majority of the journal articles now, whether it's published by international publisher or it's published by regional university press, they have a DOIs. This is something really good. But what we advocate for and what we support our community for is the other research outputs, such as thesis, dissertation, preprints, the initial version of the articles before sending it to the publisher, models, the output management plan, report, the research reports, all the valuable research outputs that research organizations and universities are currently producing. This is also a valuable part of the scholarly record. All of these research outputs should be also discoverable and visible to the community. So this is our key message. I included here some few examples from the community in Asia. So our members, and we have one of our active members, the National Research Council of Thailand. They have a national repository for datasets. They are registering their datasets in the Thai language, and they are registering a huge number of local datasets, which is really good. We have also a strong presence in Singapore. So I included here an example from one of our members, the National University of Singapore. They register all their data sets and their reports with us. Another example also for a doctoral thesis with a DOI, and this is a software script that has been deposited into an institutional repository. That software script has been written while conducting the research, and then the authors or the contributors got also a DOI for that, and DOIs also can be assigned for figures and maps, etc. So this is the point. All your research outputs should be discoverable and visible with digital object identifiers. So what is the DOI real value and impact? So in the context of research data sets, DOIs in particular will make your research data aligned with the FAIR principles. So just for you who don't know the FAIR principles, this concept came into action in 2016 with the main goal to maximize the reusability of research data sets. So integrating your data sets that your faculty members and researchers are currently producing with DOI will really improve your data set, it will become more findable, very, very easy to find, very, very easy also to access this data set, and integrating it with DUI will make it very easy for this data set to work across different systems, and it will also become more reusable, which is the main or the ultimate goal for the FAIR principles. But overall, as mentioned in the recommendation for open science that has been launched and initiated by the UNESCO in 2021, the UNESCO in the recommendation highlighted the importance and the real need for identifying all research outputs using persistent identifiers. And as Gabriella mentioned when she was talking about what are the different types of persistent identifiers, we have DOIs for research outputs. So the UNESCO, and I'm adding the URL here if you want to go and read the full report. In the part about open research infrastructure, the UNESCO highlighted the value of integrating and discovering and recognizing all the research outputs with digital object identifiers, because integrating DOIs with all of these resources will improve their visibility and discoverability. You are also enhancing the accessibility for your research outputs. And as we discussed in the context of research data sets, in particular, integrating it with DOIs will make it more aligned with the FAIR principles, and they are also supporting and obtaining recognition for all your research outputs beyond the journal articles. And when your research outputs are more visible, are more accessible, this can drive more citation, which means that you will get more citation. And as we all know, more citation can lead to improving the impact of your institutions. And overall, also, you are connecting all the valuable outputs that you are publishing into your institutional repository with the global ecosystem. I am sure we have a strong presence for librarians here. They know that a lot of discovery engines, a lot of citation databases that are being developed right now, they always scroll a content with a DOI. So the content with DOIs will really improve the visibility, and overall, by doing so, you are also being aligned with the open research and open science principles as well. So I also included another example here to show you the real value of a DOI, because one of the questions that we receive a lot, okay, I'm using like handle, for example, in my repository, or I developed within my repository a unique identifier, my own unique identifier. So why should I switch from handle to the DOI? First of all, we are not asking you to switch from handle to DOI. You can still use both handle and the DOI together. The real added value for the DOIs is the ability to retrieve the metadata information. So when you register a dissertation, for example, with a DOI, what you are doing is you are providing us as a registration agency, in this case, with the authors' names, with the affiliations of the author, the name of the institution. You also include the publication date, you include the editors, you include any other collaborators. So all of these valuable metadata information will become discoverable and visible, and the DOI metadata can be retrieved across different discovery engines and citation databases. So let me show you very quickly this live demo where we copy this DOI and we say we want to format this DOI according to the ABA style, for example. So what is happening right now is this DOI is going to the back end where the registration agency stored all the metadata information, and as we can see now, they are retrieving the metadata information about this particular DOI. So we can see all the authors' names, we can see the publication year, we can see the publication title, we can see a lot of valuable metadata information that has been registered while getting a DOI for this particular research output. So imagine with your institutional repository, with all the valuable research outputs that you are currently publishing in your repository. We can talk about dissertation and thesis, we can talk about student project, we can talk about conference proceeding, we can talk about all the reports, annual research reports that your institution is producing. Imagine connecting and registering each research output and providing the metadata information about all these research outputs. And imagine also the ability for these DOIs to be retrieved and all of this metadata information to be discoverable across different citation databases and discovery engines. So this was a very quick demo about the real value of the DOI and the ability to retrieve the metadata information. On top of providing DOIs for our members, the 1,400 organizations that are part of the DataCite community right now, we built with the support that we received from the European Union an open platform called DataCite Commons. So within DataCite Commons, we are displaying the metadata information about the 60 million DOIs that have been registered by DataCite. We have also some DOIs from our partner, Crossref. These DOIs are for the DOIs from the journal articles that have cited research outputs like datasets that have DataCite DOIs. And then within also DataCite Commons, what we did is we built an integration with ORCID API to display information about the contributors, the authors who created these research outputs. We built also an integration with the Research Organization Registry, ROR, the identifier for research organizations. And we have an integration with the RE3 data as a registry for the data repository. So what we are currently doing is we are trying to build a network, or what we call a bit graph, to build the connections between all of these different objects. Through the Research Organization Registry, we are able to identify the organization. Through the ORCID IDs, we are able to understand and identify also the academic contributors, the authors, and then we are able to identify all the research outputs, such as software or data sets using and publication using the DOIs. And we also are able to track the funders through the Research Organization Registry ID. So as you can see, using different types of persistent identifiers in research workflows will make this goal achievable and possible. So within DataCite Commons currently, researchers can look for datasets, thesis, dissertation. As I mentioned, this platform, it's open for everyone to access it. And with the use also of DOIs, we are able to bring citation to the surface. So for example, this is a screenshot for a dataset that has been cited once so far by this journal article. So we are able to build that relationship. So citations are not only limited to journal articles, datasets also can be cited. Actually, we are leading an initiative called Make Data Count. If you search it for that website, you can see that Make Data Count. It's a global initiative. DataCite is leading it with the goal to build responsible data citation metrics, because we want to track the impact of the data sets. And then also within Commons, we are supporting recognition. So we display the informations about the creators, the contributors of all these research outputs. And we also support recognition for the organizations who are the funder or the supporter for this work. And this is a screenshot from one of our institutions in Africa, in Kenya in particular. And as you can see, we can see the total number of their produced outputs, total number of citations that they have received so far, and views and downloads. As I mentioned, Commons is open for everyone to explore and to use, and it's not limited for DataCite members. So how to register a DOI? So what we did within DataCite is we developed the DataCite Fabrica. This is very nice, simple web interface. It's like one-stop service for all our members to create, manage DOIs for their organization. So within DataCite Fabrica, we built tools for the members to start creating, managing, and find also the DOIs that they register. They can also always check for statistics about their DOI activities, like how many DOIs they registered so far, how many DOIs they registered last year, if they have been with us for quite some time, so they can always access all these statistics. We are also providing them with link to always update their information, the organization information, etc. So we built that infrastructure. So whether you join us as a direct member or a consortium organization, as I will explain in the next slides, we already no need for you to worry about that infrastructure. We have developed that stable infrastructure that allows you to register DOIs in a very smooth way. So as Gabby mentioned, we are a non-profit organization and we are governed by our community. We have an executive board elected from our 1,400 organizations, and the executive board is leading the organization and figuring out also our directions. We also sustain through the membership fees. So the membership, our members, they sustain the organization, and this is also one of the key reasons that they take a shape in our governance and our structure. So in order to join DataCite, we have two options. The first option is joining DataCite as a direct member. So let's say your university or your research institutions, you have two repositories. You have a general repository where you put all your reports, your conference proceeding, your thesis and dissertation, and then you have a specialized data repository, for example. So you can join under direct membership and connect these repositories with DOIs and start registering your content with us. So we have this option, direct membership. And then we have a second option, and this is the option that we promote more, because this is like a more sustainable option, and this is a more cost-effective option as well. So a consortium option. So in this case, a consortium is a group of like-minded organization, and it always consists from 5 organizations or more, where they come together and they start a DataCite DOI consortium. It can be limited to a specific country or a specific region, and it even can be within a specific subject area. So we are open into that. So in this case, the consortium lead will take the responsibility to start the consortium. And then, as I mentioned, we need 5 organizations or more, and any interested university can join and start. They join us as a consortium organization, and they start, in this case, connecting the repositories with us, and they start registering DOIs as well. If the consortium organization has 1 or 2 or even 3 repositories, they can connect them individually, and they start registering DOIs for each repository. We don't have any issues with that. So regarding also the roles for the consortium lead and the consortium organization, what is the difference? So the consortium lead is the organization that is leading the consortium itself, and they manage 1 or more repository accounts and the prefix. They play an active part also in the DataCite governance, like the voting for the executive board, voting on our fee structure, all the other activities, and they also manage several consortium organizations. So one of the key consortium role is to manage the other consortium organization and managing them in terms of the admin fees, of sharing the billing, all of this administrative work for running a consortium. And they also play an important part in the strategic planning and goal setting for the consortium, what they want to achieve, how many institutions they can accommodate. And they also, for example, run training and outreach activities as well for their consortium organization. And for sure, they make sure that everything is running according to DataCite policies and standard. And regarding the consortium organization is any university, any research institutions that will join an existing consortium, and their role will be managing their own repositories and the prefixes. As I mentioned, if they have 1 more than repository, it's completely fine. They can connect to 2 or 3 repositories. And the fantastic thing is what we did within DataCite infrastructure. So let's say consortium organization, they got the approval from the consortium lead, and they can join under a specific consortium. Once they join, they have within their own account with their own dashboard, they have the ability to create, add repository, update the information about the repository, remove repository even if they want to remove a draft repository or a test repository that they created. So no need for them each time whenever they need a specific request to go back to the consortium lead, because we developed that within Fabrica. They can always update their information and do this work. We expect them to play an active part in the consortium activities. So if the consortium lead is providing training or a webinar session, we expect them to show up and attend, and definitely they also be aligned with the DataCite policies and the standard, and they always report on local activities and contributions to the consortium lead. I included here also some examples of the DataCite consortia. If you remember, while Gabby was giving us a snapshot of the current DataCite community, she mentioned that we have 300 members, but within these 300 members, we have 60 consortium leads. The 60 consortium leads are bringing a total of 1,400 organizations to our community. So this can shows you the power of the consortium and starting a consortium. So currently within DataCite, we have 60 consortium leads worldwide leading DataCite DOI consortium in their countries or their regions, from countries like Nigeria, the United Kingdom, Brazil, Australia, Japan, and Germany. I included here two examples. We have the TIB, the National Library for Science and Technology in Germany. They are one of the fantastic consortium leads and leading DataCite DOI consortia in Germany. And then we have also the British Library, one of the most successful UK DataCite consortiums. And just to give you an idea about the numbers, so within the British Library Consortium, we have more than 111 consortium organizations. These are universities, research institutions, governmental bodies in some cases, and even in some cases museums and research centers who are interested to register DOIs for their outputs and galleries as well. So we have a wide range of organizations and institutions that are joining the British Library DataCite Consortium in the United Kingdom. They are registering more than 165 repositories, and as you can see also on the numbers, like more than 700,000 DOIs are findable just like in total since they joined the DataCite, and these figures are up to September 2023 last year. So really one of the key options that we took when we talk to our community is the consortium option. This consortium option can drive adoption, it can reduce financial barriers as well, and encourage more and more organizations to join. And then another important point that I want to share and discuss with you today is DataCite Global Access Fund. We launched the Global Access Fund program last year in September 2023 through an initial fund that we received from the Chan Zuckerberg Initiative. The goal is to support non-profit organizations in Africa, Middle East, Asia, and Latin America to give them a funding opportunity so they can improve their existing infrastructure. Regarding the last year round, we received more than 185 applications, and we ended up awarding 12 organizations from Lebanon, Mexico, Uganda, India, Argentina, Cote d'Ivoire, Zimbabwe, Indonesia, Georgia, Tunisia, Nigeria, and Brazil. So what we are doing also this year is we about to announce the 2024 Global Access Fund, and this year also it will be kind of similar to last year. So we have two main tracks. The first track is we are funding outreach and engagement activities. So this is, I think, I was discussing this with Dr. Sangeeta before the meeting, before we started the webinar. I see DELNET as a perfect candidate. So this is an open invitation for you to apply. So if you are planning to develop an outreach and engagement activities to support increasing awareness and drive adoption also in your global and local community about DataCite, about our infrastructure, about open research practices. So this can be in a form of organizing capacity building to deliver training. It can be in the form of organizing events such as online webinars or in-person workshops, virtual communications and the campaign, or even developing outreach resources and educational resources in English, in Hindi, in your local language. So this is one aspect of the Global Access Fund, is outreach or funding outreach and engagement activities. The second aspect is open infrastructure development. So let's assume that you are an institution and you have currently a repository existing in your university, but you want to improve it. You want to improve it in terms of maybe uploading new content to it, maybe digitizing a lot of printed content like old thesis, books, and you want to upload it to your repository, or maybe you want to revamp completely your existing repository. You want to develop it, you want to upgrade it from a specific version of DSpace to another version, but you don't have the resources. You need to hire a web developer, you need to hire a librarian maybe to expand your team and work on this project. Then you can apply to this fund as well. Or even if you don't have any repository at all, but you want to launch your institutional repository from scratch, so you can mention that in your plan that we want to launch our own repository and with the goal to do 1, 2, 3. And even if you have one existing repository and you want to launch another data specialized repository, so you can mention that as well and can apply for the fund. So this fund is mainly for supporting any repository, and it's really important to highlight also that when we use the word repository in the DataCite terminology, we refer to institutional repository or a publication system like OGS, for example, or any other local system that maybe you have developed within your organization, and you store and deposit all the research outputs that you are currently producing within this local system. So we just use the word repository to refer to any of these points. So yeah, so this is also another fantastic opportunity for the institutions, for everyone who's joining us today. If you want to develop an API integration to connect your local output to a national system with DataCite registry, if you even have an existing repository and you just want to build a new tools or like new dashboard, improve it with more visualization, statistics tools, you can always also apply for this funding opportunity. The outreach activities is up to 10,000 euros. The scope for the infrastructure is up to 20,000 euros. Regarding the timeline for the Global Access Fund for this year, so we are expecting to launch the call for proposals 2nd of September, very soon. So you need to start working on your plan from now, and the application due date will be 11th of October. And then we expect during that time, since we closed the application till December 2024 will be the period for the reviewers and the board. Also, we have a funding committee and we have external reviewers, and we as a regional engagement specialist don't have any influence at all regarding the final decision. The final decision is for the Global Access Fund committee, but what we can do, and me for example, because I'm managing or responsible for the Middle East and Asia, if you have any questions, I can jump in a call, we can have a conversation. If you want to have any clarification, we can exchange emails. I can work with you while you are preparing your proposal. I can give you advice, I can share more information if you need further information, but the final decision is 100% managed by the Global Access Fund committee, and we as regional engagement specialists don't have any influence at all to the committee. And then we expect that the awarded project will run through Jan 1st to 31st of December 2025, the whole next year. And I included here also the URL for the Global Access Fund. We can see further details about that. And if you are more and more interested to know more about the Global Access Fund, maybe you will go through the URL and you will have more questions. So this is an open invitation for you. Gabby and I are running a webinar on 11th of September. So if you want to join the conversation, this will be a fantastic opportunity for you. So if you have any questions about the fund, if you have any comment, if you want to further clarifications, it will be a fantastic opportunity for you. So this is the registration link, and I shared already my slides with Dr. Sangeeta and DELNET team, and I'm sure they will send you the slides in the follow-up email. So you will find the webinar registration link. You can sign up and register for the webinar, and yeah, we will be more than happy to welcome you and to respond also to your questions. Yeah, and again, at the end, I think we almost reached a final point of my presentation. So this is an open invitation for you, for your institution, to join our community. As Gabby mentioned in the beginning, we are beyond data sets. We support the registration for DOIs for more than 30 research outputs and resources, from images, preprints, software, reports, dissertation, and student project, books, workflows, all these valuable research outputs. We work also with different repository types like institutional, disciplinary, multidisciplinary. Even if you have a project related repository, we work with all of them. And then we also support different repository software. I know that the adoption of DSpace in India is huge, so we work with DSpace. So like we built that integration, so you will not do a lot of technical infrastructure to connect with DataCite, but we also work with OGS, with Dataverse, with Invenue, with ePrints, with CCAN. So regardless the repository software that you are currently using, I can guarantee that within DataCite Fabrica, you can register your DOI in less than 1 minute, because you will provide the metadata information about that research output, and then you can get a DOI. We also work with different repository sizes. So if you have a repository with 10 or 15 research outputs per year, or if you have a mega repository with 1,000 or 5,000 research outputs, or even if you are like Zenodo or the Australian geoscience data where you have 5 million items, we can also work with you. So we can accommodate within our infrastructure, within our registry, different repositories sizes, from small, medium, and large. And I think, yeah, this is almost the end of my presentation. Before I finish my presentation, I want to show you again another quick demo about the value of the DOIs and the point that we talked about connecting different research outputs with the researchers and with the institutions as well. So let me take you, so this is Zenodo. This is a general repository for research outputs. Maybe some of you are already aware of it. So what I did before the session today is we have a community within Zenodo, within this repository. So I went there and I deposited my presentation, because I consider this presentation as part of my contribution to raise awareness among the research community about the value of persistent identifier, about the value of integrating DOIs in research workflows. So what I did is I included the presentation title here, and I added my name and linked it to my ORCID ID. I added also my colleague Gabriella, because she presented also with me. Even if it's a recording, it is still count. And as you can see here, when I click on show affiliation, we can see this is my affiliation. This is where I work, DataCite. And then we have also the ROR ID for my organization. And then I included the description, and this is my presentation. You can always go and download it. So even until now, we have even 5 downloads. So what happened is automatically after registering it here, I got my DOI. So this is the DOI for my presentation. This is the DOI for my presentation, as you can see here. But what I found is I found that my ORCID record, this is my ORCID record. This is because I also have an ORCID account where I am adding my biography, my email address, where I am currently working, my previous experience, my education, my professional activities within the global community. I'm adding all of this information. And then we have within ORCID, we have a section for works, my contributions, my outputs. So here, if we look for DELNET, we can see that it's appearing in my ORCID record as a contribution. So this is the presentation, my presentation title. This is the repository name, because what happened is Zenodo as a repository, they pushed the metadata information about the presentation that I registered to my ORCID record. And I can see because of that, this presentation is now appearing within my ORCID record. The source is DataCite, because DataCite is the registration agency within Zenodo. So I can see that the source is DataCite. I can see the DOI. I can see all the valuable metadata information. I can see even the description. I can see the date when this was added today, and all this valuable metadata information. So think if you did the same for your repository at your organization. Think if you have a lot of valuable research outputs such as thesis and dissertation, reports. Imagine about all the events, all the conferences, all the abstract that your faculty members are currently producing. Imagine linking it into you are already publishing it into your repository, so you will not do an extra work. But what you will do is when you are registering it, you will include the research organization registry for your university. You will also include the ORCID ID for your contributors, and you will get a DOI for your research outputs that you are registering. And then what will happen is this research output or these research output will become more discoverable and more visible within discovery engines and citation databases because of the DOI. But on top of that, also you are going to push. So if I am a researcher at your university and you are currently managing my repository, and for example, I shared with you like 2 conference proceeding papers and 1 dissertation that I was a supervisor, and then maybe another peer review report that I or preprint for my article, and I asked you or checked with you as a librarian if you can publish this into our university repository, and you did that. You added my ORCID ID. All of this will appear in my ORCID record automatically, and it will appear as within my contribution or within my work section, because this is still, if it's a conference paper, if it's a dissertation, if it's a thesis, it's still a valuable part of my research outputs. It's an important contribution that I made as a researcher, so it will automatically appear here in my ORCID record. So by doing that, you are supporting recognition for all your research outputs, you are increasing discoverability, you are increasing visibility, and you are also supporting your faculty members, you are supporting your researchers, because now all the work that your researchers are producing will be connected and visible within their ORCID record. So next day when they apply for a grant, whether it's international or local grant, the funder can see, they can track, they can find all of their works are added with DOIs, so it's connected, so they can see when they fund them, all the research outputs that they are going to produce also will be visible to them. So this is just a quick example that I preferred to show you, and this is not, we are not talking even about conference proceeding or a preprint article. I'm talking about a presentation that we just shared or we are just sharing it right now. So yeah, this is an open invitation for you to join the DataCite community, to register all your valuable research outputs with DOIs, because this will really bring a benefit to your academic researchers and faculty members, and it will bring more benefits also to your institution. When your institution is more discoverable and more visible, this will bring more and more benefits to the organization as well. Yeah, this is the DataCite social media channels. We are almost everywhere on X, on LinkedIn, and if you have always any questions, you have my email address in the presentation in the first page, and if you wish to contact us, you can also email us at support@datacite.org or info@datacite.org. And yeah, thank you so much. I hope that I didn't take much time, and I am more than happy to hear your questions.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Mostafa, for a very, very exhaustive deliberations that you had on DataCite, and also in letting our members, our professionals knows about the Global Access Fund, what is being supported by DataCite. And thank you very much for making this today's program also. You know, it's while it's still on, but yes, the global community is able to see it, that what we are deliberating right now. Thank you so very much. Truly appreciated, you know, your time and efforts in being there with us and sensitizing, you know, our professional colleagues from the country and also from many other countries about the enormous efforts that DataCite is doing it. And also we truly admire and appreciate, being a non-profit organization, the efforts being made by DataCite in reforming and bringing in a change. So be a part of the change as being you know, mentioned. I think, you know, each one of us would like to contribute in some meaningful manner. I would just like to mention to our attendees that DELNET is exploring the possibilities with DataCite in making the DataCite available as a consortial product to our member institutions. And also pleased to inform you that Mr. Mostafa is visiting New Delhi next week. Yes, in the first week of August, he's going to be here. And as some of you would definitely be knowing about it, that IIT Delhi is hosting a workshop, and he's going to be there as the speaker, you know, from DataCite. And we are also going to have some discussions with Mr. Mostafa and exploring it, the potential you know, that can we join hands together and do something for our Indian institutions. So we look forward to keeping you informed about it. And well before we, so thank you very much once again, Mr. Mostafa, and you have really been able to cover in a span of around 45 minutes. You could throw lights on many aspects of concern, great concern to our researcher community. Truly appreciated. We would like to make the floor open for questions, but well before we do that, just posting 2 quick questions once again, and the survey questions, requesting you to kindly give your candid feedback about it. Would you be interested to subscribe DataCite? As I told you, that we as an organization, DELNET is also trying to explore the possibility of joining hands with DataCite and as a consortia, you know, to work with them for India. We would like to know from you, would you be interested to subscribe DataCite? And when we say this, we are trying to see, as an organization, as an institution who has much to offer to the world of you know, research, would you be interested in being a part of it and in being enrolling yourself as a DataCite user, as your own organization? We could see that 25% of you have voted. We fairly have a very good presence of our attendees requesting you come forward and give us your inputs about it. This would really be helpful to us, just to ascertain, you know, the kind of a demand or your perceptions about it. Do you feel that we are, you know, that your organization, or you have already a need, you know, existing in your institutions, and you may really like to come forward and to explore those infinite possibilities? So 32% of you have voted, requesting you if you can help us in achieving the 50% mark. We would truly appreciate that if many of our colleagues can come forward who have not really right now expressed their you know, their thought on this particular question. If not, let me just say that 34% have voted, and this is Mr. Mostafa, for you to keep a note, and also for us to keep a note, that 80% of you, and we really feel very you know, appreciative of an overwhelming response of 80% of our attendees who said that yes, they are definitely interested to subscribe for DataCite and to use it and to make a best you know, use of the tool which is being existing, which will give a lot much of visibility and findability of their own research, their own publications. So, and this has further been increased now. It's dwindling between 81 to 19%. It is 80 to 20%. 80% has said that yes, you would be interested for it. Let me quickly ask you one more question. and for which Mr. Mostafa is also interested to know, would you like to attend any comprehensive workshops on DataCite? Would you be interested, to give you more insights, more detailed insight, exhaustive insights on DataCite, and you as a librarian information science community, because you are the ones who are indeed going to, make your research community aware about the DataCite, and also as a researcher and scholar, do you think that you would be interested to attend some of the very exhaustive, more detailed workshops, which can spread across in different modules, and we can have it pinpointedly for a particular segment of the users? Do you think that you would be interested for it? As we could see that 35% of you have voted, 36%. It's like 39% of you have voted, and we are very pleased and happy to see the kind of a response and also the interest that the session has generated today, which is getting reflected in your opinion, which we could see getting flashed on our computers right now, that 96% of you have expressed that yes, you are indeed interested to attend some comprehensive workshops on DataCite. 44% have voted for this, and 96% of you have felt that yes, you would be interested. So I think, Mr. Mostafa, this is the way forward. We could see that there's not much of interest which is being there, and I think there is not much to contribute for it. There is a need for on the ground to make some more conscious efforts to see to it that firstly the community has to be well informed about it, and I think the DataCite has a greater responsibility in order to reach out to the institutions. DELNET would definitely be interested to help our institutions to know about it, to help our researcher and scholarly community, to just become the global researchers, and the research should also become global in nature. And that it's very, very important, to embrace these tools and technologies, which really gives a lot much of visibility. Today, the world is a world of not only connectedness, it's a world of interconnectedness, and I think it's a greater responsibility for all stakeholders to make some very it's like everyone has to join hands together and then to draw that big picture that we really want to see it, and for this research ecosystem. And we're really happy to see the kind of interest which is being there. And I think there's not much, this is just a beginning today that we have made through this program. And this is giving us a great amount of positivity that we are onto the track, which is going to lead us to, to the direction in which we really, everyone would like to, make a step forward. And so thank you very much, Mr. Mostafa. And we could see that, the deliberations of yours have really impacted, our attendees over here. And we really look forward to exploring the ways in which we can work with DataCite. And also, DELNET being a not-for-profit organization, it is both the organizations have the same goal and aim, and that is, to selflessly keep on working, for the benefit of the users, for the society, and bringing in that change, reforming it, transforming it, empowering it. And we'll be really pleased and happy to explore, how we can take it, these collaborations to the next level. With your permission now, we have already, it's 4:10, and your time is going to be 2:40, right? Dubai time?
Yeah, it's about to become 2:40.
Yes.
I just want to say thank you so much, and we are really, really excited about this partnership with DELNET, Dr. Sangeeta. Thank you so much for bringing all of this huge number of attendees. I can see that we have a huge number of attendees, a lot of people registered. So thank you so much for driving awareness. This is really, really important in your community. And yeah, we are really, really looking forward to build this partnership and to share success stories from Indian institutions and South Asian countries as well, because as we discussed, you also have presence in South Asian countries. So it will be really, really good. Yeah.
Thank you very much. So now we would like to make the floor open for questions very, very quickly, and requesting our attendees to please kindly, our colleagues over here who may like to ask a question to Mr. Mostafa, we would be happy to get you connected. Please raise your digital hand, and I'm looking at, the digital hands right now. So please raise your digital hand now if you may like to pose any question. I'm just moving quickly, from among our entire list of attendees and trying to see if any one of our, because the presentation, it was such a lucid presentation and everything was just covered in such a comprehensive manner. You still would like to get connected with Mr. Mostafa. And as we said, we have just made a beginning today through this session. And we really look forward, as we could see, 97% of you have said that, yes, you are interested enough to attend many more workshops. And we may like to really join hands with DataCite to do that, and also to see how you can become a subscriber of it and how you can make the best use of the DataCite. So I'm just quickly moving on to see if we have any of the questions that you may like to ask, and I would like to pass on. You're also most welcome. You can post your question in the IS. I would like to go to I'm just going it now alphabetically. So this is Aditi Chakravarti. Aditi, I have unmuted you, requesting you, please unmute yourself and ask the question. This is for you, Aditi Chakravarti. Could you please unmute yourself? Yes, we are connected, Aditi.
Hello, ma'am. I'm from India, West Bengal. Ma'am, this was a very fantastical webinar which I have attended now. Ma'am, actually, ma'am, I have one question, ma'am. Ma'am, am I audible, ma'am?
Yeah, very much, Aditi.
Hello?
Yeah, please move ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, could I get this recorded video in my inbox, ma'am, in my mail or in my message box?
Yeah, Aditi, already once the session gets over, sharp at 5 o'clock, everyone is going to get a certificate of participation in today's webinar session. And in that email itself, and I must truly appreciate Mr. Mostafa for it, he had already, shared with us the DUI for this the link at which, this presentation is also going to be available. It's already available, in fact, because we checked that, before we posted it. So the email that you are going to receive from us, which will, as an enclosure, will have your certificate, but that, yes, in the body of the mail, you will be able to see the link, and wherein we have mentioned it clearly that, yes, the entire presentation is being there as the entire PowerPoint presentation. The link is very much available, and also by tomorrow noon, the entire video recording of the session today, what we are speaking right now, what has been deliberated so wonderfully by our esteemed speaker this afternoon, it will be a part of the DELNET's YouTube channel, and for that we request all our attendees, please just subscribe to it. We know that YouTube, it's free of charge. You need not to really pay anything for it. But the best part happens whenever we are uploading anything, you will be then notified about it. So, and the channel name is WebView, which contains more than around 100 video lectures being delivered, under as the DELNET programs. And this will also be a part of it. So this is with the permission of Mr. Mostafa. This entire recording has been there, and then tomorrow we are going to upload it. So you're going to, Aditi, get a copy, and this is for everyone, for all our colleagues to know about it. Perfect. Thank you very much,
Okay,
Aditi, for
thank you
joining.
very much, ma'am. I'm very overwhelmed, ma'am. I'm very overwhelmed. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you so much, indeed. Thank you. We'll quickly move on now to Ayush Agrawal. Ayush, just to tell you quickly, I can't give you an audio control because the audio device is not getting connected. It's not there, in fact. Dharmendra Namdev, this is for Mr. Dharmendra Namdev. Could you please unmute yourself? And
Yes, ma'am.
Mustafa, requesting you to be, give us 5-10 minutes more. I could see many of the digital hands. Mr. Dharmendra, please kindly introduce yourself to our speaker and go ahead with your question.
Yes, ma'am. Webinars, ma'am. What? No, ma'am. Any question?
Dharmendra, your voice was not that clear. It was breaking. I'm extremely sorry. I couldn't hear you well. Shall I try to connect you once again? Let's just try our luck once again, if we can hear you. I have unmuted you, Dharmendra. Could you please unmute yourself?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Would you like to ask your question, Dharmendra?
No, ma'am.
No?
Ma'am, webinar
Okay,
is
fine.
knowledgeable
So that's good.
webinars, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, good. Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you. This is to request our colleagues, if you have any specific question, please kindly raise your hand. If you have any specific question that you may like to ask. And this is for Shraddha Dubey. This is for Shraddha Dubey. Shraddha, could you please unmute yourself? Shraddha Dubey, could you please unmute yourself? If not, Shraddha, because of paucity of time, this is for Saurav Mandal. This is for Saurav Mandal. Mr. Saurav Mandal, could you please unmute yourself? Yes, we are connected, Saurav.
Yes, ma'am. I want to speak for sharing of your presentation in the email.
Saurav, we have already informed that you are going to get a link for it in your email, and by tomorrow noon, the entire presentation is also going to be there on the YouTube. And this email at 5 o'clock, the email that you are going to get, you are going to receive also the link wherein the entire presentation file is available and it can be downloaded. This is for Akash Thaguma. I request my colleagues, if you have not the question for where the presentation we have already said, if you have any specific question that you may like to ask Mr. Mostafa, we are barging in his time already. So let's ask the questions which are of direct relevance to the topic of today's session, and wherein Mr. Mostafa can pitch in and can give his expert advice. So this is from Mr. Akash. Mr. Akash Thugma, could you please unmute yourself?
Yeah, hello, ma'am.
Hi, Akash, please introduce yourself and go ahead with your question, Akash.
Am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible, Akash, very much.
When this sir is saying about DataCite that we have organized all the things and we can collapse all the data, all the ORCID IDs and all these things in one center way. But how we can do further in a free access way? But in one click from DataCite we can get that papers or that things that any one of the authors can publish that in we can get in these things in DataCite.
I think I kind of understood the question. So he was talking about having that connectivity between, if he has a repository with connecting it with DataCite and registering all the research outputs with DOIs, and at the same time he has ORCID IDs for his authors and his contributors. So what we did within DataCite is we have a plugin that we built in a collaboration with ORCID. It's called DataCite ORCID auto update plugin. So this plugin will enable you to push anything within your repository to the ORCID record of the contributors, of your authors. So yeah, this is something is there, so no need for you to worry about it.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mostafa. I'm requesting Dr. Sanjay Kataria, the University Librarian at Bennett University. Dr. Sanjay, may I request you kindly, ask your question to Mr. Mostafa.
Thank you, Dr. Sangeeta, for arranging this very, interesting talk. This research data is very close to my heart, and we are trying our best to promote and propagate the understanding of research data among scholarly community. So there is as such not question, but there is an observation from my side that Mostafa, that there is a major issue what I am able to understand in short span of time at the Bennett University, though I'm teaching research scholars. Major concern is the awareness, lack of awareness about the research data. What kind of research data they have to curate, collect, and how they have to organize the data. More important is the understanding of the metadata, and then why they should share the data with the scholar community. And now there is a major concern is that lack of understanding of Creative Commons and all. They are scary. They really don't want to share that data with the community. So that's why there should be a kind of effort, and I think so. This is the DELNET is in a correct platform, a right platform, and where we need to have a kind of activity throughout the country to promote and propagate about the understanding of the research data. Okay, so that once people are able to understand the importance of the research data and why we are talking about open data, open scholarly communication, so that probably scholar community will come forward and then they can, while they're going to start any of research projects or the, research programs, so they should have to have a kind of understanding what kind of research data they will be curating, collecting, organizing during the research process. And second is that where they should, upload and archive the research data. Though I'm promoting at the Bennett University the Fixair. Fixair, I found the wonderful, interesting tool, and providing the 20 GB space. The scholar community, they can upload their research, research data for future. So, and more important is that the understanding of scholar community related to research data is that they should know that how they can publish the research data. That is very important nowadays. Many publishers, they have started their own data journals rather than, and research data has an equal importance that the way they are publishing the research papers. And the kind of repositories providing an DOI and similar kind of people can cite your research data in the research. So this kind of activity is very important. And thank you, Dr. Sangeeta. I think so. DELNET is the only platform in this country where promoting, supporting a lot of things in library networks. So I'm look forward to more activity, more support from DataCite as well as from DELNET to promote and propagate the understanding of the research data. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Sanjay. Thank you for being there with us this afternoon. Thank you so much indeed. I could see not many hands. Mr. Mostafa, is it convenient for you to stay on?
Yeah, it's convenient. I just want to add a small comment to Dr. Sanjay, his overview. I completely agree with him, and he highlighted two main problems within the increasing the global adoption of persistent identifier. The first problem that he highlighted is the lack of awareness among local communities and regional communities about these PIDs, the value of integrating them in research workflows. And the second important point that he also highlighted is the lack of underlying infrastructure. Okay, I have my data sets. Where should I put? I have my data set if I don't have a repository, if I don't have a data repository at my institution. So he also highlighted the lack of underlying infrastructure, and I agree with him that these are two important obstacles that we are currently supporting the community through the Global Access Program, through the funding opportunity that we gave last year and this year as well for leading organization to increase their outreach and engagement activities with the community. So I agree with him in these two issues.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. This is for Avantika Singh. Avantika, you have raised your digital hand. Could you please unmute yourself? Avantika Singh, Avantika, last call for you. If you really want to ask a question, please unmute yourself. Extremely sorry, I have to move on to our next colleague. Kavita Devi. Kavita, could you please unmute yourself? This is for Kavita Devi. Kavita, could you please unmute yourself? If not, I have to lower the hand and to ask. This is for Pramita Sharma. Pramita, there is no audio device. I can't give you control. This is for Sushant Kumar Dubey. Sushant Kumar Dubey, could you please unmute yourself? You have raised your digital hand. This is for Sushant Kumar Dubey. Could you please unmute yourself? If not, I'm compelled to then, yes. We have already taken much of your time, Mr. Mostafa, and I think it's a time for us now to conclude for today. We are carrying forward, many recommendations which have emerged, from the brief discussions that we had for past more than 1 hour, and which truly have reflected, and everyone has been of the same opinion that there's a greater need. Firstly, to sensitize, spread awareness, among our researcher community in the country, all the stakeholders, whether they're the educational administrators, heads of institutions, librarians have to play a very pivotal role in this, and we have to reach out to those for whom this entire work is being focused on. And I think everyone has to play a role very responsibly. We have to work very, with a high sense of, the collaboration has to be there. Cohesively, we have to work for it, and it is to ensure that this is also changing, the perceptions, as Dr. Sanjay has pointed it out, that, still the researchers, scholars, they have many apprehensions with them, to share the data, to making it as on a global platforms, those data. They don't have the repositories with them. And how really, I think everyone, each one of us has to really contribute collectively. Together, we can make that difference. And yes, it has been a wonderful afternoon wherein we have deliberated on something which holds a great significance for the communities as such, not only for the library communities, for research communities, and these are not in isolation. I think we need to really look at it as in a very holistic manner, and because the efforts of one leads to, it will have a cumulative effects. It will have, exponentially we can make a difference, if we are able to see, firstly, draw the big picture that what we ultimately want to do and then work for it. But it has been truly a great honor and pleasure, Mr. Mostafa, in having you, Gabriela, with us this afternoon. And we have just initiated a dialogue, which we are pretty sure is going to take us into the direction in which all of us, would really want to make some very consistent and very conscious efforts, to bring in and reforming, the way that the research is being undertaken, looked, and how it's getting visible, to the communities as such. And this is not only to make it as on the global communities, even within their own communities, even within. So it will have a kind of an effect which is far, one cannot even visualize at times, what is a kind of an impact and effect it's going to have. So far-reaching effects is definitely going to bring in, but we have to really take it down to the communities, to the researchers, and not many, as these brief surveys even have reflected, that not everywhere the people are being aware about it. And that's how we could see in the last, when we asked them, would you be interested in the workshops, on this, and 97% have opined that yes, they are, would be. So we really are, concluding on a note that this has given us a lot much of impetus for, moving ahead and deliberating further. And once you are going to be here next week here in Delhi, we have many more agendas to, to discuss on this. And we will sincerely be trying to see that how we can help our Indian research institutions, research communities, and yes, the libraries at large, and making them capable, having that capacity building, programs to be done over here, and how we can really be of any help in this pioneering work which is being undertaken by DataCite. So it has been a true pleasure and honor, and now is the time for us to present this memento, which I would like to give it to you in person when we are meeting on 8th of August. And this is not only from our organizers, DELNET, this is from all our colleagues here who are on this platform today and who have felt so immensely benefited, with your presence and with your presentation and sharing your, knowledge and introducing us all to DataCite and the tremendous work that you are doing with great sense of appreciation. This is being
Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah.
Looking forward to presenting it to you, and it's good that you are coming and meeting us on 8th of August, because then you need not to carry it all the way, because you will be going back on the same day. So we really look forward. Thank you so much, and do convey also a warm gratitude and thanks to Gabriela, who has been really able to spare time in getting the message recorded, and that's truly, appreciated and admired. So thank you so very much, and we really look forward to having an opportunity to work together, and we really would like to have more brainstorming sessions also with our Indian and other colleagues, from other countries, to see to it that how we can, can immensely contribute. Let each one of us responsibly work for it, and bring in, and transform, this entire research landscape. So thank you so very much.
I just want also to say thank you so much to you, Dr. Sangeeta. As a person from the beginning, you have been a huge support to this webinar to happen, to the idea also of having a conversation about how to build a community also practice in India. So thank you so much to all the attendees, to DELNET Network for inviting and organizing this fantastic webinar, and I am really open to support another advanced detailed workshop, because yeah, 96 or 97%, I think we need to accommodate that in our discussion also, how we can take this partnership forward with DELNET. And again, huge thank you, Dr. Sangeeta, for all your valuable effort in making this workshop happen. And I think we are just opening a first chapter for collaboration. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you very much indeed. Truly appreciated and admired here. And thank you very much. And also convey our thanks to everyone at DataCite, all our colleagues, who have been of tremendous support to us. Thank you so very much. Our very, very, wonderful colleagues here, not only from India, from different nooks and parts of the world, who have been so very gracious, in being there with us this afternoon, this evening, and early morning. And you have been there. It's a timeless connection that you are able to establish, and that we truly cherish, that we truly admire and appreciate. And you remain as an inspiration to us to always keep connected with you and being engaged in these knowledge enhancing, knowledge sharing sessions. So thank you so very much. We can't really thank you enough in always being there with us in this wonderful journey of library networking through DELNET. Just to sum it up, would like to mention that at sharp 5 o'clock today, you are going to receive an email. Do refresh your emails. At 5 o'clock, you are going to receive an email which will have not only the link for downloading your certificate, most importantly, it will have the link of the wonderful presentation, the most memorable presentation by Mr. Mostafa, and you can click onto it and do remember with a DOI, it's been coming to you. Download it. And also by tomorrow noon, we will be uploading the entire video recording of the session of today on DELNET's YouTube channel of WebView, and you are most welcome to view it. And we assure you that we are going to come back to you on further, initiating. We have just made a beginning today, to explore our possibilities, to partner with DataCite, and we assure you, and that's very much visible from your inputs that you gave. So thank you so very much, and we really look forward to having many more programs, with DataCite, and we assure also, Mr. Mostafa, to DataCite that you can always rely on DELNET. You can always count on DELNET for undertaking any of these activities of DataCite in India, and you will always find a very proactive, support, coming from us. So once again, thank you so very much, each one of you. And I would also like to take this opportunity to thank my own colleague, Mr. Kushal Giri Goswami, who has been coordinating, for our webinar sessions. Thank you very much, Kushal. We really look forward to being there once again with you, and truly appreciated the presence of each one of you. Thank you very much, Mr. Mostafa, for, not only acceding to our request, but also ensuring that we had such a wonderful deliberations, and the deliberations which are really, it's a beginning today. So this has been, the day we really, we do pray and hope that this day is going to be remembered by us, the 31st of July, that we made a beginning on something. So as always, we say that the journey of the 1,000 miles always starts with one single step. We do hope that this has been a step in that direction, and in the days to come, we would be in a position to contribute immensely to our research landscape here in this India, and to contribute in some ways to DataCite's initiatives. So thank you very much once again. A very warm appreciation for you. We look forward to meeting you on air here, and we extend very cordial welcome well in advance to you, to India and to Delhi, and looking forward to more discussions on this topic, what we had deliberated today. Thank you so much indeed.
Thank you so much. Thank you for everyone. Thank you. Bye bye.
God bless you. God bless you.
Bye bye.
God bless all of you, and stay happy, stay blessed, do stay informed, and do stay connected. It has been truly a pleasure and honor for us to have each one of you. We have truly cherished, and we have truly appreciated and valued your presence. God bless you all. Thank you so very much once again. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mostafa, and do convey our warm appreciation and admiration also to Gabriela. I'm going to write.
Sure, will do. Yeah, sure, will do. Thank you so much, everyone. Bye bye. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Bye. 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 Thank you.